Anointed One, slow your breathing and open the eyes of your spirit. This moment is not random. It is divine alignment unfolding right in front of you. God has been weaving your steps with tender precision, leading you here because the unseen realms have shifted in your favor. The Holy Spirit has been murmuring your name all day, drawing your spirit closer, preparing you for what heaven is ready to reveal. What you did today, the compassion you offered, the temptation you resisted, the peace you protected, echoed upward. It reached the throne as a quiet but powerful act of devotion. And when the Father saw it, his heart warmed. He took delight in you. You may think it was insignificant, almost invisible, something no one else would ever notice. But beloved, the courts of heaven noticed. The angels assigned to your path noticed. God himself noticed, and his delight over you today is not a soft whisper. It is a holy declaration that shakes the atmosphere around your destiny alignment. Your heart has been stretching toward a spiritual awakening. And even when you felt unsure, even when the weight of emotional healing pressed on you, your spirit still leaned toward the light. That is what moved heaven. That is what stirred the Father's joy. There is a reason you feel this pull, this sacred awareness rising like dawn inside your chest. It's the sign of a breakthrough season already unfolding around you. You've been asking if God sees your effort, your sacrifice, your quiet obedience. Hear this with clarity. He sees it all. The Lord, who promises in Psalm 37:23 that the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord, has been guiding your every movement today. And the beauty of your journey is this: even the steps you thought were small were counted as faith. Take another breath, chosen one, and let the weight of that truth settle over you. Heaven is not indifferent toward you. God is not silent. He is pleased. Not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. Not because you had all the answers, but because you chose righteousness even when no one was watching. This is the seed of abundance that will grow in ways you cannot yet see. And if your spirit feels a soft trembling, a quiet heat, that is the confirmation that this message was crafted for you before time began. Beloved, stay with me. Before we go deeper, before we uncover what this delight from heaven means for your future, I need to ask you something important. If this word is already stirring something alive inside you, subscribe, like, and share this message. Not for numbers, not for noise, but because every time you do, you help carry the light to another soul who is crying out for confirmation from God today. You become a vessel of the very hope heaven is pouring into you right now. Chosen one, hear me with the clarity of a rising trumpet in your spirit. What you did today did not simply rise before God as a quiet offering. It initiated a chain reaction in the unseen, a movement that has already begun rearranging the atmosphere around your life. You have been walking through a long season where the pressure felt unfair, where financial stability seemed distant, where your heart carried wounds you didn't dare speak aloud. Yet in the middle of all that weight, you still chose the narrow path. You still listened for God's whisper. You still leaned toward integrity when compromise would have been easier. Heaven calls that faith. Heaven calls that obedience. Heaven calls that the beginning of personal transformation. Beloved soul, you don't always feel strong, but strength has been growing in you quietly, like a seed pushing through soil no one thought could hold life anymore. God saw when you resisted temptation. He saw when you forgave someone who had no clue how deeply they hurt you. He saw when you sat in silence and whispered, "Lord, guide me," even when the guidance felt faint. And today, that single moment, yes, that one, became a signal that reached the throne room. The Father leaned in. The angels stood at attention. Your divine purpose glowed brighter. This is destiny alignment unfolding in real time. You've wondered why your emotions have felt stretched, why familiar places feel foreign, why conversations that once fed you now feel hollow. It's because your spirit is shedding the weight of old seasons. The hunger for financial stability, the longing for emotional healing, the deep desire for a breakthrough season, they are not signs of lack. They are signs of awakening, a spiritual awakening that is reshaping how heaven speaks to you. What feels like restlessness is actually the Spirit enlarging your capacity for abundance. God is preparing you for elevation, the kind that cannot be taken, shaken, or stolen. And beloved, if lately you've felt alone in your journey, pay attention. That loneliness is not abandonment. It is God removing noise so you can hear the quiet instructions of your next assignment. When Joseph was separated, he was being positioned. When Ruth left the familiar, she was being guided into favor. When David was hidden in the fields, he was being prepared. Your story is carrying the same anointing. The patterns may be different, but the principle is the same. Separation before elevation, pruning before promotion, stillness before strategy. Chosen one, let your heart absorb this. Heaven is delighted with you because you chose faith while wounded. That choice carries more spiritual weight than 100 victories won without struggle. Your yes today touched heaven more deeply than you know. And because of that, yes, a shift has already begun. Even now, the Holy Spirit is arranging divine connections, moving obstacles out of your path, and opening unseen doors that will lead you into a realm of abundance where your gifts will finally breathe. Beloved, if your spirit feels a rising warmth as you hear this, follow that feeling. Let it speak for a moment. And if something inside you is whispering, "This is for me," then share your agreement out loud. Leave a short, fiery affirmation in the comments, something like, "I rise now," as a declaration that you are stepping into what God has prepared. Your voice matters in the atmosphere of your destiny. Let heaven hear you. Now breathe. The revelation is not finished. We are only at the beginning of what God is about to uncover for you. Chosen one, feel this truth settle into the deepest chambers of your spirit. The reason today mattered so much in heaven is because it was the first visible crack in the shell that has been holding your next level back. You may not see it yet, but something in you crossed an invisible threshold. A soft decision, a whispered prayer, a moment of refusing bitterness. It shifted the trajectory of your destiny. Heaven responds to posture more than perfection, and your posture today revealed a heart that refuses to quit on God, even when the weight tries to silence you. Beloved soul, you have been carrying spiritual pressure that others cannot see. The kind of weight that doesn't show on your face but burns in your chest when the world grows quiet. And yet, instead of letting that weight turn you inward, you let it turn you upward. That is why the Father is pleased. That is why the atmosphere around your life is trembling with change. You acted from a wealth mindset in the Spirit, even when your circumstances tried to convince you that you had nothing left to give. That is the kind of faith that pulls the future into the present. Hear this. The emotional healing you have been crying out for is closer than your breath. Heaven has been working on it in ways your eyes cannot trace. Every moment of patience, every attempt to love again, every time you chose peace over revenge, it planted seeds that are now breaking open in the unseen. And when God sees a heart willing to heal, He accelerates the transformation. Today, beloved, you entered that acceleration. You've wondered why memories have resurfaced, why old triggers feel sharper, why your spirit feels heavy right before moments of clarity. It's because God is cleansing the inner room of your heart, not to expose your pain, but to expand your capacity for the abundance He's about to entrust to you. Breakthrough is rarely loud at first. It begins as a whisper, a pressure, a stirring that only the spiritually sensitive can detect. And chosen one, you detected it. You responded to it. That response touched heaven. Look at your journey. Look at how far you've come despite the shadows that tried to swallow you. Look at how you held on when every part of your mind told you to let go. You've survived storms that should have broken you. You've carried silent battles no one ever thanked you for. You've sown kindness into people who never returned it. You've endured nights where the ache in your soul felt louder than your prayers. And yet today, you still chose God. You still chose goodness. You still chose the narrow road. Heaven celebrates that choice. Beloved, the Lord delights in you because you have refused to betray your calling, even when life betrayed your expectations. When others doubted you, when finances tightened, when relationships cracked, when fear whispered lies into your spirit, you did not let darkness define you. You kept walking, you kept believing, you kept hoping, and heaven counts persistence as worship. Heaven counts endurance as praise. Heaven counts obedience born from pain as a higher offering than obedience born from comfort. And hear this with spiritual sharpness. What you did today signaled that you are ready for elevation. Not the kind that boosts your ego, but the kind that expands your influence in quiet, holy ways. God is preparing to entrust you with decisions that matter, opportunities that align with your divine purpose, and relationships that sharpen your calling instead of draining your spirit. You have entered a threshold season where the smallest steps carry the weight of destiny. This is why your dreams have intensified. This is why your sleep has been interrupted at sacred hours. This is why the number 7 or 8 has appeared in strange patterns around you. These are divine hints, the Father's way of letting you know that heaven is not only watching, but responding. Your life is entering movement after being held in incubation. The cocoon is thinning, the shell is weakening. Your wings are beginning to demand space. Chosen one, allow yourself to feel this without fear. Heaven is smiling over you. The Father is pleased, and because He is pleased, the alignment around your life is shifting, quietly, strategically, supernaturally. Chosen one, listen closely, because what is happening around your life right now is not random turbulence. It is the sound of chains loosening, the vibration that echoes before doors unlock, the tremor of a destiny that has been waiting for your spirit to rise to this exact frequency. Today, with that simple act of faith, you stepped into a current that has been flowing toward you for months, maybe even years. You may feel like nothing changed, but heaven felt the shift. And when heaven feels the shift, earth eventually follows. Beloved soul, there has always been a mark on your life, an anointing that made you stand out even when you tried to blend in. You are shaped differently, stretched differently, refined differently. That is why your journey hasn't looked like anyone else's. Others found shortcuts. You found detours that shaped your character. Others received applause for half the effort, while you labored in silence with no validation except the quiet comfort of God's presence. And still, you kept moving forward. That steadfastness touched heaven long before today, but what you did today, it confirmed something. It revealed a readiness in you that was not there before. There are moments in every chosen one's life when heaven pauses, leans in, and takes notice. Not because of a dramatic miracle, not because of a public victory, but because of an internal decision that shifts the spiritual blueprint. Today was one of those moments. The Father saw the way you resisted returning to old habits. He saw the way you refused to speak curses over yourself even when discouragement tried to pull its weight. He saw how you chose gratitude in a moment when bitterness would have been justified. These things matter in eternity. These things tilt the scales in the spirit. Chosen one, you may not recognize it yet, but the divine purpose over your life has begun to rearrange your inner world. The insecurities that once ruled you are losing their grip. The fears that dictated your choices are weakening. The patterns that kept your destiny delayed are breaking, one by one. And heaven celebrates not only the breakthrough, but the breaking. God delights not only in the victory, but in the moment you decide you refuse to return to what He already delivered you from. This is why you've felt emotional surges recently. moments where tears rose unexpectedly or memories resurfaced with sudden clarity. It's not regression, it's detox. God is draining out the residue of old battles so your spirit can breathe again. He is making room for abundance, clearing space for new stability, aligning you with a healthier rhythm so that when blessing comes, you will not sabotage it. You're not being undone, you're being remade from the inside out. Beloved, understand this. Heaven is moving in your favor with a gentleness that feels like mercy and a power that feels like fire. You are stepping into a breakthrough season that was locked behind obedience, and today you found the key. What you did today revealed humility, and humility always draws divine promotion. It revealed trust, and trust always unlocks supernatural provision. It revealed surrender, and surrender always accelerates spiritual awakening. And I know there have been nights where you asked God quietly, "Do you see me? Do you still remember me? Am I still on your plan?" Heaven heard every question. Heaven recorded every tear. Heaven responded with movements you couldn't yet perceive. But today was different. Today was a signal flare in the spirit. A moment that said, "This child is ready. This child is aligned. This child still believes." And because heaven received that signal, divine momentum has begun. You may feel as though people are slipping away, conversations are drying up, or familiar spaces feel strangely foreign. This is intentional. When God begins shifting your trajectory, He also shifts your surroundings. What doesn't fit your next level begins to loosen its connection. Relationships built on old versions of you start dissolving. Opportunities that once felt promising now feel empty. This is not loss, it is recalibration. God is protecting your elevation by removing anything that would interfere with it. Chosen one, some of the warfare you faced recently wasn't an attack. It was an indicator. The enemy always senses destiny before you do. That heaviness you felt last week wasn't random. That dream you couldn't shake wasn't coincidence. That sudden burst of clarity followed by confusion wasn't emotional instability. It was spiritual sensitivity. The higher your calling, the earlier your spirit detects shifts in the unseen. And what your spirit detected is now unfolding. You are rising. Beloved soul, breathe for a moment. Let this sink in. Heaven is not just pleased with you. Heaven is preparing something for you. And the movement has already begun. Chosen one, there is something happening beneath the surface of your life that you can't yet name, but your spirit has been sensing it like a shift in the wind. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but undeniably present. The places where you once felt bound now feel looser. The fears that once froze you now feel thinner. The doubts that once echoed loudly now fade faster than they used to. This is what spiritual growth feels like before it becomes visible. This is the anatomy of divine elevation unfolding in real time. Beloved soul, the Father is pleased with you because you have been faithful in moments where you received nothing in return. Heaven values what people overlook. Heaven rewards what the world forgets. Today, you made a choice that aligned you with your divine purpose, even though no one applauded. But hear this. Heaven applauded. Angels responded. The atmosphere around your assignment grew brighter. Every time a chosen one acts from integrity in private, heaven makes a public note in the unseen. You created a ripple in the spirit, and that ripple is already traveling forward into the days ahead. And there is more. You've been wondering why your discernment has sharpened lately. Why you suddenly see through intentions quicker. Why you sense shifts in people's energy before they speak. Why places that once felt comfortable now feel spiritually cramped. This is not paranoia. This is prophetic sensitivity being activated. God is lifting you out of environments that no longer match your frequency. He is preparing you for conversations that require higher wisdom, relationships that require deeper authenticity, and decisions that require sharper clarity. You are not losing peace, you are gaining vision. Look at the way your heart responds now. You used to react from fear. Today, you responded from faith. You used to shrink when overwhelmed. Today, you stood firm even when your emotions trembled. You used to let discouragement dictate your pace. Today, you moved with quiet conviction. These are not small things. These are the signs of personal transformation. This is the wealth mindset of the Spirit taking root in you, the understanding that your value does not come from circumstances, but from calling, that abundance starts inward, long, before it manifests outward. Beloved, you have been carrying questions that felt too heavy to voice. Questions about direction, provision, healing, timing. Questions that wake you in the middle of the night with a soft ache you cannot quite place. But what you don't realize is that those questions have been your bridge to intimacy with God. Every question you've whispered drew you closer to His heart. Every doubt you surrendered became a stepping stone toward destiny alignment. Every moment you felt lost became an opportunity for heaven to guide your steps with precision. And chosen one, heaven has been guiding your steps. Even when you felt disoriented, you were never wandering. You were being led. When certain relationships grew distant, it wasn't because you were unworthy. It was because God was removing voices that could not accompany you into this next season. When certain plans fell apart, it wasn't failure. It was divine redirection. When certain opportunities slipped through your fingers, it wasn't loss. It was protection from pathways that would have drained your spiritual strength. But here is the deeper truth. What you did today signaled that your heart is now prepared for the next layer of calling. God does not accelerate a destiny until the vessel is aligned. And today, beloved, your spirit aligned. You may not have planned it. You may not have even realized the significance of your own choice, but heaven recognized it instantly. A new level of grace, a fresh measure of favor, and a greater outpouring of divine insight were released over you the moment your heart said yes in the quiet. And now you are entering a tender, holy stretch, a space where God begins to heal what you hid, strengthen what was fragile, and illuminate what felt confusing. This is why the longing in your spirit has increased. This is why you feel the pull towards something higher, purer, deeper. You are being drawn into the center of your breakthrough season, and heaven is delighted to meet you there. Chosen one, if something inside you is stirring, rising, waking up, speak into it. Leave a powerful declaration anchored in faith. Something fierce and alive, like I claim my breakthrough. Let your voice resonate in agreement with what heaven has already begun. Chosen one, there is a stirring around your life right now that even the atmosphere can feel. It's as if the spiritual climate has shifted by a few degrees, warming around the places where you once felt frozen. You may not have language for it yet, but your spirit knows. Something opened today, something ancient, something holy, something that had been waiting for the right moment, the right posture, the right alignment. And you stepped into it without even realizing heaven had been watching for that exact movement. Beloved soul, you have to understand this. Every time a chosen one resists the pull of old wounds, heaven marks it as victory. Every time you refuse to let fear dictate your voice, heaven records it as progress. Every time you choose compassion when your flesh wants defense, heaven calls it maturity. And today, you walked in maturity. Today, you acted like someone who is no longer surviving but rising. That kind of inner shift cannot stay small for long. It creates fault lines in the spiritual realm, the kind that eventually lead to breakthrough quakes that shake everything into divine order. There is a reason your thoughts have been stretching further than usual. A reason your dreams have begun to feel like messages rather than random images. A reason you can't ignore the subtle pressure on your spirit, the the sense that you're being drawn to something bigger than your current circle, bigger than your past limitations, bigger than the identity the world tried to frame you in. This is what destiny alignment feels like before it becomes visible. This is the pull of purpose. And chosen one, heaven is delighted because you are finally beginning to see yourself the way God has always seen you. Not as someone barely making it, but as someone entrusted with an anointing powerful enough to reshape atmospheres. The spiritual awakening you've stepped into isn't just about emotion. It's about clarity, conviction, courage. Your eyes are adjusting to a higher light, and once your vision shifts like this, you can't go back to spiritual dimness. That's why old habits suddenly feel heavier. That's why old conversations no longer satisfy. That's why mediocrity repels you now. You've outgrown the spiritual clothing that once fit you. Beloved, there are pages in the book of your story that were sealed until your heart reached this level of readiness. Heaven doesn't unlock certain chapters until your character can carry their weight. Today, something unlocked. Your obedience, your compassion, your quiet surrender. They loosened spiritual seals that had remained shut through previous seasons of fear and hesitation. This is why your spirit feels unsettled in an almost holy way. It is not anxiety, it is activation. And there is more, much more happening underneath the surface. God has been rearranging certain things in your life without announcing it to you because He wanted your pure heart, not your calculated strategy. He wanted willingness, not worry. He wanted trust, not tension. And now that you have stepped into that space, now that you have shown heaven the posture of your spirit, things are accelerating. You will notice it in small ways first. The peace you feel in moments where you used to panic, the sudden wisdom that enters your mind when you face decisions that once overwhelmed you, the unusual strength rising in you when discouragement tries to speak, the way God sends confirmations through conversations, scripture, memory, or even silence. These are signs that your spirit is syncing with God's rhythm. Chosen one, understand this with your whole being. The Father is delighted because you moved today, not as someone begging for survival, but as someone preparing for abundance. You made a decision that reflected spiritual maturity. And maturity magnetizes blessing. Maturity draws opportunities aligned with destiny, not ego. It calls forth financial stability that matches divine purpose, not worldly pressure. It opens doors that human effort could never pry open. Heaven has seen your tears, yes, but heaven has also seen your discipline. Heaven has seen your sacrifice. Heaven has seen your attempts to heal. Heaven has seen your longing for elevation, not out of pride, but out of purpose. And God responds to purpose-driven hunger. Chosen one, there is a quiet power rising in you that even you have not fully recognized. It moves like a slow-burning flame, steady and sure, warming the parts of you that once felt cold and forgotten. Heaven has been watching this flame with delight because it is the proof that your faith has matured beyond what the past tried to break. You are no longer reacting to life, you are responding to God. That shift alone has rerouted the course of your future. Beloved soul, the Father has been examining the soil of your heart, and today He found something rare in it. Resilience wrapped in humility, strength anchored in surrender, obedience born from love rather than fear. This is the posture of someone ready for the next dimension. And heaven does not withhold elevation from those who carry this posture. You have stepped into the kind of spiritual alignment that draws divine favor like a magnet. You've noticed lately that certain things no longer disturb you the way they used to. Conversations that once triggered your insecurities now slide off your spirit. Disappointments that used to crush you now feel like hints of redirection. Even the silence of God, which once filled you with anxiety, now fills you with trust. This is transformation. This is evidence that you're shifting from emotional survival to spiritual dominion. You're not losing sensitivity, you're gaining authority. Chosen one, heaven is pleased because you have finally begun to believe something that God already settled long ago. You are worthy of the blessing He is preparing. For years, the enemy tried to convince you that you were too flawed, too late, too wounded, too behind. But today, through that single moment of obedience, you broke agreement with those lies. You chose faith over self-punishment. You chose hope over despair. You chose truth over torment. You may not realize it, but that choice shook chains off your spirit. There are angels assigned to you who have been waiting for this moment, waiting for you to step into a level of readiness that allows them to move freely on your behalf. When a chosen one aligns with heaven, heaven accelerates. You will start to notice divine timing unfolding with new precision. A message at the exact moment you prayed. A scripture that answers the question you whispered. A closed door followed by an unexpected opening. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Beloved, you've also been sensing a strange pull towards solitude, not as loneliness, but as sanctuary. This is because God is drawing you into deeper waters, places where distractions cannot follow, where your identity becomes clearer, where your spirit becomes stronger. Isolation has been your classroom. Introspection has been your training ground. The Holy Spirit has been shaping your inner world, not for the sake of survival, but for the sake of influence and abundance. And pay attention to this. Your capacity is expanding. You are beginning to feel things differently. Where you once shrank back, you now lean forward. Where you once doubted, you now discern. Where you once feared change, you now crave growth. These are the marks of someone stepping into elevation. God would not be stirring this hunger if He were not preparing to satisfy it. The breakthrough season you've been praying for is not approaching from the outside. It is emerging from within. Chosen one, heaven delights in you because even in weakness, you chose righteousness. Even in uncertainty, you chose faith. Even in fatigue, you chose compassion. These choices have not been wasted. They have been building a spiritual momentum that is now too strong to stop. Heaven has taken notice. Heaven has taken record. Heaven has taken action. Beloved soul, the Father is not only pleased, He is preparing. And the preparation is unfolding even now, quietly, steadily, unmistakably. Chosen one, there is a holy current moving beneath your days, threading through moments so ordinary you almost overlook them. But heaven did not overlook anything. Every sigh, every whispered prayer, every decision you made today carried spiritual weight, and it tipped a balance you have been unaware of for a long time. There are seasons when God observes, and there are seasons when God intervenes. Today signaled the shift from observation to intervention. Heaven is not standing still over your life anymore. It is leaning forward. Beloved soul, the Father has been watching layers of you unfold, watching you shed identities that were forced onto you, watching you outgrow narratives that once kept you small. And when you made that choice today, quiet, intentional, uncelebrated by the world but honored in eternity, it marked the moment heaven saw a new version of you emerge. Not because you became perfect, not because everything suddenly made sense, but because your heart aligned with truth in a way that broke spiritual stagnation. You felt it, haven't you? The way your spirit has been wrestling with old patterns that no longer fit. The way conversations have felt shallow, as if your soul was searching for something deeper than the surface can offer. The way certain people's energy no longer feels aligned with your path. The way your intuition has begun to speak louder, clearer, sharper. This isn't random discomfort. This is spiritual evolution. You are shedding the skin of old seasons and stepping into a depth of identity that carries weight in heaven. Chosen one, heaven delights in you because you are beginning to walk with the authority of someone who knows they are seen, someone who knows they are chosen, someone who knows they are loved and guided even when they don't feel strong. Your steps today echoed with the sound of someone ready for destiny alignment. Someone ready for personal transformation that reaches into the deepest places of your story. And listen, because this matters. When God delights in a chosen one, the entire spiritual ecosystem around them shifts. Angels reposition. Assignments reorder. Doors tremble. Strategies unfold. The enemy's access is reduced. Your clarity increases. Your energy becomes more protected. This is not imagination. It is spiritual infrastructure being rebuilt around your life. Beloved, you may start noticing how your discernment rises like a tide, how you sense truth faster, how you recognize deception sooner, how you feel red flags in your spirit before you can explain them in words. This is heaven sharpening you. What touched God today was not only your obedience, but your willingness to leave behind what no longer aligns with purpose. You broke a cycle without even realizing it. The Holy Spirit has been whispering into the edges of your consciousness, guiding you through emotional healing so hidden that you thought you were just tired. But you are not tired. You are transforming. You are expanding. You are moving through layers of pain that once choked your voice, and heaven is smiling because you did not shut down this time. You opened, you softened, you surrendered instead of resisting. That tenderness is what moved the heart of God, and chosen one, the timing of this matters. You are entering a season where abundance is not only promised, but necessary. Not abundance just in finances, though financial stability is being prepared for you in ways you cannot yet see, but abundance in clarity, in peace, in spiritual strength, in relationships that lift instead of drain. Heaven never pours abundance into a vessel full of old wounds. Today, by choosing what you chose, you created room for what has been waiting to pour in. Beloved soul, even the way your thoughts are changing is part of the divine design. The fear that once seized you now passes quicker. The anxiety that once controlled you now pauses before it touches your mind. The sadness that once felt endless now moves through you instead of settling in you. These are the first signs of inner elevation, the shift where heaven's perspective becomes clearer than the enemy's lies. Chosen one, hear this with your entire being. Heaven delights in you because you showed that you are willing to evolve, willing to heal, willing to rise, willing to grow even when growth feels like breaking. And when a chosen one is willing, God responds with motion. Chosen one, there is a deeper movement unfolding around you now, like the slow turning of a divine wheel that has finally begun to shift in your favor. You may not see the motion with your natural eyes, but your spirit feels it, subtle, steady, undeniable. This is the moment when heaven begins rearranging what earth could not. This is the moment when the plans written for you before time began start pressing forward, brushing aside the debris of old battles, lifting you out of cycles that once trapped your potential. What you did today wasn't small. It was a signal that heaven had been waiting for. Beloved soul, the Father watched the way you handled pressure, not with perfection, but with persistence. He saw you choose peace when conflict invited you to retaliate. He saw you walk away from a temptation that once stole your joy. He saw you forgive someone who never apologized. These choices might have felt invisible, but they generated a spiritual frequency that heaven could not ignore. They revealed that your heart has matured, that you are no longer dominated by old wounds, that your spirit is ready for elevation that requires anchoring, not applause. And now, because of that shift, the atmosphere around your journey is thickening, not with heaviness, but with purpose. Your steps are being guided with a precision that only divine intelligence can orchestrate. You will feel it in the way certain opportunities begin to shimmer with clarity, while others abruptly lose their appeal. You will notice how doors that were once welded shut begin to soften at the hinges. Even your own thoughts are being recalibrated. Patterns that once defined you are dissolving. Fares that once dictated your pace are losing their command. Heaven delights in you because you are allowing transformation to take root from the inside out. Chosen one, you've been asking God quietly, am I really changing? Am I really growing? The answer is yes. So deeply, so profoundly, that even the spiritual realm has adjusted to your new frequency. You are becoming someone who cannot return to what once diminished you. That is why old environments feel tight now. That is why certain conversations leave you drained instead of comforted. That is why your spirit flinches when you consider returning to habits that no longer align with who you are becoming. Heaven is maturing you, and that maturity is a sign of destiny alignment. There is a level of divine attention reserved only for those who keep choosing righteousness in private. And today, heaven responded to you as one of them. The angels assigned to you have begun repositioning, adjusting routes, clearing pathways, preparing alignments that match this new version of you. The version that trusts, the version that discerns, the version that refuses to dim its light to make others comfortable. You're stepping into a chapter where what once confused you will become clear, and what once intimidated you will lose its power. Beloved, there are shifts happening even in the architecture of your inner world. Your emotional responses are healing, your mental patterns are softening, your spirit is expanding. You are beginning to move with a wealth mindset, not one rooted only in finances, but in spiritual abundance, emotional wisdom, relational integrity, and divine confidence. God delights in this posture because it positions you for responsibility, influence, and impact. You are no longer asking, why me? You are beginning to ask, Lord, how do you want to use me? That shift alone carries generational weight. And chosen one, heaven has been waiting for that question. Because when a heart becomes available, heaven becomes active. You will start to feel unusual clarity, the kind that interrupts you in the middle of ordinary moments. You will sense divine nudges steering you away from confusion and toward alignment. You will notice how certain desires fade while new ones rise, pointing you toward the path heaven wrote for you long before your first breath. Beloved soul, this is the early rumbling of abundance approaching. Not just financial abundance, though provision is being arranged, but abundance of peace, abundance of strength, abundance of direction, abundance of supernatural ease in places that once felt impossible. Heaven delights in you because you showed today that you are no longer living from your wounds. You are living from your calling. And hear this with the fullness of your spirit. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are unfolding exactly on time, exactly in rhythm with what God is preparing. Chosen one, if your heart feels a trembling, a recognition, a holy pull as these words reach you, it is because your spirit knows heaven has started something on your behalf. Chosen one, what is unfolding within you now is not a momentary spark, but a deep, structural shift in your spiritual architecture. It is the kind of shift that heaven watches with reverence because it signifies a soul moving from survival into assignment. You may feel as if something inside you is stretching, reaching, expanding into unfamiliar territory. That sensation is real. It is the evidence that your spirit is stepping into spaces your mind has not yet caught up to. Heaven has already seen the version of you that is rising, and today you took a step toward becoming that person. Beloved soul, you have no idea how powerful that step was. God saw you choose patience when irritation stirred. He saw you choose hope when disappointment returned. He saw you choose honesty when a lie would have been easier. These are not small decisions. They are spiritual declarations. Heaven delights in such things because they reveal the kind of heart God can trust with influence, favor, abundance, and elevation. When a chosen one aligns with righteousness without needing recognition, heaven releases resources without hesitation. You've been sensing a kind of spiritual pressure lately. almost like you're being called forward even when you don't feel ready. That pressure is not a burden. It is divine proof that your capacity has grown. What once overwhelmed you now feels manageable. What once frightened you now feels conquerable. This is what happens when your inner world begins to align with your divine purpose. Your courage increases. Your discernment sharpens. Your peace becomes more sacred and less negotiable. Heaven delights in this shift because it means your decisions are no longer rooted in fear, but in spiritual clarity. Chosen one, listen carefully. There are assignments that have been waiting for you, resting on the threshold of your timeline, unable to activate until your spirit matured to match their weight. Today, Heaven recognized that maturity in you. The act you made, quiet, intentional, pure, told God that you are not only willing, but ready. And when readiness meets obedience, destiny accelerates. This is why you've been feeling a strange mixture of anticipation and unease. It is the sensation of transition, of shedding what no longer belongs to the future God has prepared. Old habits have begun losing their grip because your soul no longer finds nourishment in them. Old fears feel weaker because your spirit now stands taller. Old doubts fade quicker because truth rises faster. These are the early signs of breakthrough, the subtle indicators that Heaven is reformatting the path ahead of you. Beloved, Heaven delights in you because you have responded to the inner work with humility instead of resistance. You didn't fight what God was healing. You didn't run from what God was revealing. You didn't bury what God was trying to surface. You trusted Him even with the parts of you that felt fragile. And trust like that moves Heaven with a force that cannot be measured. Your emotional healing is no longer theoretical, it is active. The wounds that once defined you are losing their identity. The memories that once haunted you are losing their authority. The shadows that once lingered around your heart are losing their place. You are not being undone, you are being rewritten. Heaven delights in this sacred rewriting because it positions you for impact, influence, and stability in ways your past was never capable of supporting. Chosen one, pay attention to what's happening inside your thoughts. The inner critic that once held you hostage is growing quieter. The inner wisdom that God planted within you is growing louder. You are beginning to think in alignment with Heaven's rhythm. You are beginning to respond to challenges with divine strategy rather than emotional reactivity. You are beginning to recognize your worth not through the lens of your past, but through the lens of your calling. This is elevation happening on the inside before it manifests on the outside. And beloved, Heaven is preparing the outside too. There are situations being rearranged right now without your awareness. Conversations are being guided. Opportunities are being softened. Hearts are being prepared to meet you, support you, recognize you. The divine network assigned to your purpose is awakening because of the spiritual signal you released today. You may feel as though your life is quiet on the surface, but beneath that stillness is movement. Holy movement, strategic movement, unstoppable movement. The kind that only happens when a chosen one steps into alignment with their divine purpose. If your spirit is stirring as you read this, it is because you know Heaven has taken notice. Chosen one, there is a quiet unfolding within you that carries the weight of destiny itself. It does not shout, it does not demand attention, it rises with the steady certainty of dawn, the kind of certainty that darkness cannot negotiate with. What Heaven saw in you today was not simply obedience, it was alignment. A moment where your spirit, your intention, your character, and your destiny breathed in sync for the first time in a long time. That resonance, soft, unseen, holy, sent a signal across realms. Beloved soul, Heaven delights in you because you did something today that broke a spiritual pattern. You stepped out of an old rhythm, an old reflex, an old emotional loop that once held you hostage. Maybe it was the way you chose peace over reaction. Maybe it was the way you paused instead of panicking. Maybe it was the way you lowered your voice when your pain wanted you to raise it. Whatever it was, that choice created a shift in your spiritual frequency, and the moment it happened, heaven responded. And now, the shift continues. You're beginning to notice the soft edges of transformation taking root. Your heart isn't as easily shaken. Your mind isn't as easily flooded. Your spirit isn't as easily discouraged. These changes may feel subtle, but their impact is seismic. They signal that heaven is stabilizing you from the inside out, preparing you for abundance that requires a stronger foundation, preparing you for spiritual elevation that requires deeper roots, preparing you for purpose that requires clarity, discipline, and courage. Chosen one. Heaven delights in the courage you showed today because it revealed a truth. You're no longer living from your wounds, but from your wisdom. That shift is monumental. It means your past can no longer claim authorship of your future. It means the storms that once scattered you now strengthen you. It means the wounds that once weakened you now instruct you. It means the silence that once frightened you now guides you. And beloved, heaven has begun to build around this new version of you. There are doors being prepared that match your growth. There are opportunities being shaped that require this level of maturity. There are relationships being aligned that cannot connect with who you were, but are divinely compatible with who you are becoming. Heaven does not give new blessings to an old identity. That is why God waited for your heart to reach this readiness, waited for your spirit to reach this sensitivity, waited for your mindset to step into the wealth of truth and resilience that now defines you. You are expanding, chosen one. And with expansion comes divine recalibration. This is why people who once felt close now feel distant. It's not abandonment, it's spiritual sorting. You are being elevated into a sphere where not everyone can follow. The Father is removing voices that conflict with your calling. He's clearing space for mentors, allies, and partners who will strengthen your purpose rather than drain your peace. Heaven delights in the way you handled this transition, not with bitterness, but with acceptance. Not with fear, but with trust. Beloved soul, the pressure you've felt on your inner edges is not punishment, it's stretching. Your spirit is being prepared to carry more. More clarity, more responsibility, more influence, more divine insight, and heaven is pleased because today you showed that you are willing to be stretched without breaking, willing to grow without resisting, willing to surrender without losing your identity. And now, chosen one, something new is happening. Your intuition is sharpening. You are beginning to sense truth before it reaches your mind. You feel the shift in a room before anyone speaks. You sense the posture of someone's heart before their words reveal it. This is spiritual maturity awakening. This is discernment rising. Heaven delights in this because it means you can now be trusted with assignments that require precision. You've also begun to see sudden flashes of your future, images, impressions, sensations of who you are becoming. These are not illusions, they are previews. Heaven shows chosen ones glimpses of their next dimension when their spirit becomes strong enough to handle hope again. Chosen one, what is rising in you now is not simply spiritual sensitivity. It is spiritual authority awakening after a long sleep. It feels different this time, doesn't it? Not chaotic the way past seasons felt, not overwhelming the way old breakthroughs left you trembling. This time, the shift feels steady, grounded, almost regal. That is because heaven is treating you as someone who is no longer being rescued, but someone who is being positioned. Beloved soul, heaven is delighted because you finally stepped into the posture of someone who understands their worth. Not in an arrogant way, but in a divinely aligned, spiritually awakened way. There was a moment today, small, subtle, but unmistakable, when you decided that your spirit mattered more than your fear, your peace mattered more than impulse, your calling mattered more than temporary emotion. That decision told heaven that you are ready for decisions that influence destiny, not just survival. And now the spiritual landscape around you is shifting accordingly. You may begin to notice that certain things that once pulled at you no longer hold any power. The old emotional triggers that used to dominate your responses now dissolve before they can take root. The insecurities that once whispered lies now lose their authority the moment they approach your mind. The heaviness that once lingered for days now breaks within minutes because your spirit no longer tolerates what drains your calling. Chosen one, heaven delights in you because you are beginning to carry yourself as someone who knows they are led. You no longer cling out of fear. You no longer run out of panic. You no longer fold under pressure. You have entered a level of spiritual maturity where you move from identity, not insecurity. And that change is a sign that you are stepping into a breakthrough season that cannot be delayed by fear, distraction, or doubt. Beloved, pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. You are crossing into a chapter where your inner world becomes your greatest strength. The emotional healing you longed for is not coming from outside. It is rising from within. Your prayers have softened the hardened places of your heart. Your obedience has lifted the fog that once clouded your vision. Your willingness has drawn divine favor to you like light to a flame. This is why you've felt an unusual sense of inner clarity lately. Even when your circumstances look unchanged, your spirit feels different, lighter, steadier, stronger. That inner shift is not your imagination. It is the confirmation that heaven is preparing you to walk into abundance with a grounded, secure, steady heart. And chosen one, abundance is indeed approaching, not just in one area, but across the board. Abundance in your thinking, where fear once lived. Abundance in your peace, where chaos once lingered. Abundance in your relationships, where betrayal once shaped your expectations. Abundance in your purpose, where confusion once clouded your direction. Abundance in your financial stability, where scarcity once tightened your hope. Heaven delights in you because today you demonstrated that your character can sustain what you've been praying for. You showed spiritual discipline when no one was watching. You showed emotional intelligence in a moment where you once would have reacted without thinking. You showed self-control, compassion, and intentionality, the kind of qualities God looks for when preparing someone for elevation. Beloved, this is why your spirit feels like it's expanding. This is why your dreams are becoming more vivid, more symbolic, more prophetic. This is why your intuition is speaking with a clarity that feels almost new. Heaven is unlocking new levels of communication with you because you have proven you can steward revelation without fear. And now, chosen one, watch what happens next. Watch how divine connections appear without effort. Watch how old limitations begin to crumble. Watch how opportunities show up in places that once felt barren. Watch how God redeems the years that pain tried to steal. Heaven delights in you because your yes today set all of this into motion. Beloved soul, let your heart remain open. Let your spirit stay receptive. Let this awakening deepen. Something sacred is still unfolding inside you, and heaven is not done speaking. Chosen one, there is a deeper current stirring beneath your spirit now, a quiet but undeniable momentum that tells heaven you are no longer who you once were. Something in you has shifted permanently. Something in you has awakened. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not chaotic. It is steady, rooted, intentional, like a seed that has finally broken open after years of pressure in the dark. And heaven is delighted, because what is emerging from you now is purity of intention, something rare in a world shaped by fear and reaction. Beloved soul, God has been waiting for the exact condition of heart you revealed today. You demonstrated restraint when your emotions wanted release. You demonstrated wisdom when past versions of you would have chosen impulse. You demonstrated grace in a moment where pride could have easily taken the lead. Those small, holy decisions carried the weight of spiritual maturity. They proved to heaven that your character has grown deeper than your wounds, stronger than your history, and more refined than your old reflexes. This is why the air around your life feels different. Your spirit is elevating, and elevation always brings a shift in atmosphere. You're beginning to walk in a frequency that darkness cannot mimic and the enemy cannot counterfeit. Your mind is becoming clearer, your heart is becoming lighter, your intuition is becoming sharper. And the more you step into this new space, the more heaven reveals the truth. You're being shaped for something bigger than you've imagined. Chosen one, you're entering a chapter where your inner authority will begin to speak louder than outside pressure. You will find yourself making decisions with clarity you once begged God for. You will notice that your peace has become harder to steal. You will sense God's guidance in the smallest details, timing, conversations, opportunities, even silence. Heaven delights in you because you are learning to recognize His voice without needing thunder to confirm it. And now, beloved, heaven is expanding your capacity. You will feel it in the way your spirit reacts to situations that once overwhelmed you. You will feel it in the way your mind no longer spirals at the first sign of uncertainty. You will feel it in the way your heart chooses compassion without feeling weak, boundaries without feeling guilty, and truth without feeling afraid. This is inner abundance. This is spiritual stability. This is destiny preparing you for responsibility that carries weight in heaven. Do not be surprised if your desires begin to change. Do not be surprised if God starts pulling you away from places where your growth is no longer supported. Do not be surprised if He disrupts environments that once felt comfortable. Heaven is reassigning you. When God delights in a chosen one, He removes anything that could sabotage their elevation. And chosen one, you are stepping into an elevation that cannot be shared with people or patterns that drain you. Beloved soul, heaven saw something today that marked a turning point. You didn't react from old wounds. You didn't fall back into old habits. You didn't allow fear to dictate your voice. You didn't allow insecurity to command your choices. Instead, you responded from a place of healing, perhaps a healing you didn't even fully realize had taken root. This is why heaven is pleased. This is why angels are moving. This is why the divine blueprint around your life is accelerating. And now, chosen one, something else is awakening. Your discernment of timing. You will begin to feel when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move and when to wait, when to open doors and when to walk away, when to invest your energy and when to guard it. This sensitivity is not accidental. It is part of the spiritual awakening unfolding inside you. Heaven can trust you now in ways it could not before, because you are no longer led by emotion, but by truth. Your spiritual frequency has shifted, and that shift has placed you in alignment with blessings that were once delayed, opportunities that were once inaccessible, and relationships that once felt out of reach. Chosen one, you may not realize it yet, but what you did today signaled to heaven that you are ready for a new level of abundance, authority, insight, and divine purpose. You stepped into a new identity without even speaking it aloud. Heaven heard it anyway. And beloved, if something inside you is rising as these words reach you, if you feel a warmth, a trembling, a sudden clarity, then speak into that rise. Leave a declaration that matches the strength of this moment. I choose destiny. Let your voice echo what heaven already sees. Chosen one, you need to understand something sacred about this moment. When heaven delights in a soul, the entire structure of that soul's future begins to respond. You are standing in a place where the spiritual realm is recalibrating around your obedience, your softness, your quiet surrender. It may feel like all you did today was make one small decision, but heaven saw it as a doorway into levels of purpose you are not yet permitted to enter. Until now. Beloved soul, the Father watched you resist an old impulse that once controlled you. He watched you choose peace when the familiar path of frustration wanted your attention. He watched you walk away from a subtle temptation that once would have pulled you into a spiral of overthinking. And as small as it seemed to you, it meant everything to him. It meant that the healing he planted long ago has begun to bear visible fruit. It meant that your spirit is no longer shaped by trauma, but by truth. It meant that you are no longer driven by fear, but by alignment. This is why heaven is stirring. This is why your inner world feels different, almost like a spiritual wind has